All right, let's pick it back up. We'll start out by making some room. And we're going to hold the 3 key on the keyboard, left mouse click. It's going to create a constant node. Double click on that and make sure that every value here is set to white. So the red, green, and blue channel set to white. I'm going to convert that to a parameter. And here on the channel name, we got saturation, brightness, contrast, and roughness. All right. And we'll go ahead and name this parameter albedo controls. Perfect. So let's hook up our saturation control first. So for that, let's make a desaturation node. And we're going to invert the value by doing it 1 minus. We're going to go ahead and plug in the saturation into that, and then here into fraction, and we're going to go ahead and import color. Now to break the connection here, you can hit Alt and left click one of the lines, and that'll break the connection like I just did for the base color. For the next one, we want to make a multiply node by holding M, left mouse click. We want to drag our input right from the desaturation, and we're going to drag our brightness right here into the multiplier. And for the next one, we're going to go ahead and add a power node. We're going to drag our contrast into it. Our output from the multiply right into that. Here, right into the base color. Let's go ahead and hit apply, save, and let's go check out our material instance. So here is our group. Now let's go ahead and bring that into the ground group that we've already previously set up, and do so by clicking the constant parameter, and then under the group, we'll go ahead and assign it the ground group. Apply again, save. Now we have it in here. Okay. Great. So if you want to rearrange the order of these guys, I'll go ahead and really quickly show you how to do that. I'm going to go back into the material graph here, and I want to go ahead and start with my textures being at the very top. So I'll select the albedo parameter here, and I'll set the priority to 1. Then I'll select my mask to set that priority as 2. Select my normal, set the priority as 3. Then I want my albedo controls. So, and I can skip some numbers here. I'll start with 10 in case I need to fit anything in later. So 10 for albedo controls, and I'll do 20 for size. Save. Now you can see that it's following that, respecting the set priority order. Okay, so we've set up some nice controls here. Let's do one additional one for albedo. Let's do a tint. So go ahead and hold the 3 button and left mouse click to make it constant. Now let's go ahead and convert this to a parameter as well. Call it tint. Assign it to the group. And for this one, let's say, and we want to connect that to a multiply by holding M, left left mouse click. Type the output from that tint into the A, and we're going to squeeze that in here between the contrast and the saturation and brightness. We're going to squeeze it here in the middle. Go ahead and repipe that. And for my value here, my default value, I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to 1. All of them. Apply and save. Our tint control. Let's go ahead and make sure that everything is working as intended. So I'm going to select my size. Right, that seems to be working well. So if you change the value and you want to get back to the default value you've set, you can a little undo icon or reset icon will show up on the right hand side. You can click that and it'll bring you back to the default that you've set up. Let's now check out our tint. Great, and that seems to be working well. Set that. Great. And now for our albedo controls, let's check saturation is working well. Brightness is working well. Contrast well, and roughness. Oh, we don't have roughness linked yet, so that's not doing anything. All right, but everything we've set up is working correctly. So we'll go ahead and collapse all that, save. Now we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and set up the roughness. So we'll make a multiply node by holding the M key, left mouse click. And we'll type our roughness right into the A input and our roughness output control into the B, and then that to our roughness on the material. Now in the case scenario that you don't have a roughness map and you want to toggle that option off, we'll go ahead and make a gray texture for it. So I'm hitting Control C, Control B to duplicate my mask. And I'll scroll down to where I have the mask selected here. And from the drop-down menu, hit the gear icon and make sure you have the Show Engine Content checked on. And then you want to go to 127 Gray. Select that texture. Here's we lost our mask, so let me go ahead and fix that. Okay. So now we want to do a switch parameter. All that, use mask. And we'll go ahead and pipe the mask roughness into true and this default gray texture into false. We want to check the default value to be checked on as true, so that way by default we are using the mask texture that we download from Quixel Megascans. And then we'll go ahead and pipe that back into A here. and select that parameter. Make sure it's set to the ground group and set your priority. Here, I'll go ahead and say 13. Apply. Save. And here we go. We have our use mask added to our material instance. So that's in the case scenario that you don't have that. And I just noticed that we lost our parameter here, so let me convert that. All right, we're back in business. I see what's going on. I duplicated the parameter, so it keeps kind of fighting against itself. So I'll go ahead and delete one of these. Just drag on the here. All right, so we're back up and running. So now let's go ahead and set up a control for the displacement. And for that, we'll do a contrast, reserve color, plug in your input right into the color there. On a constant parameter here. Let's do it this way. Constant, right click it, convert it to a parameter, just to show that there's a couple of different ways to do this. And we'll call that displacement. Plug that into the contrast, set the default value to 1. Actually, that might be a little much. Let's set it to 0.5. And now plug that into displacement. All right, great. Go ahead and assign that to the ground group, and I'll make this one 21. Apply. Save. And here we go. Our displacement's here at the bottom. You want to go ahead and click the texture and scroll down, or just search for displacement. And the magnitude is set to 4 by default, which is a bit much. I'll go ahead and just default that to 1. And the center is just where you want it to displace from. So if you wanted to displace up and down, keep it at 0.5 so it does an equal amount of displacements both up and down. If you just want it to go up or just want it to go down, then you would use a 0 or 1 value for that. So we just keep that at default there. All right, so now that we've set that up, let's go ahead and set up our normal. For that, we're actually going to do it through a material function. So let's go ahead and set that up. And expand the content drawer here. Navigate back to our texture material folder. Oh, I have the search open. Right, there we go. So we want to right click, select a material, and make a material function. Call it MF. Sorry. Demo. You can name that whatever you want. I'm just using that to keep it consistent with the demo naming. So we'll go ahead and open that up. All right. So now that we're in here, we want to go ahead and make a function input. So we want to make 2 of those. Now for this first one here, we'll go ahead and call it normal map. And for the second one here, we'll call it strength. This will make sense in a little bit. This is how we're going to be plugging inputs into the material function from our material. So, all right. Now from here, you want to drag out. You want to type in break out float 3 components. That's going to grab the red, green, and blue channel from our normal map input. Now from there, we want to go ahead and make 2 multiply nodes. We're going to be plugging in the red channel into one of them and the green channel into the second one. And then our strength input is going to control the strength of the red and the green channel. After that, we want to go ahead and make float 3. We pipe all that together. And we want really just care about the red and the green channel. Go ahead and pipe blue in here. And the results will be coming out into the output result. Great. Now that that's set up, go ahead and apply, save, navigate back to our material. We're going to drag in that function that we just made right into our graph. And then from here, you want to drag your normal map in here. If you want to rearrange the order, nice to keep it cleaner, just go back in here, set the priority to 1, priority to 2 on this one. Now that flipped the order of those 2. Now hold 1 and left mouse click and convert this to a parameter. And we'll call this normal strength. Set the value to 1. Actually, let's keep the value at 0 for default. And put that into the normal. There we go. Hit apply, save. Make sure that everything's showing up here where we want it. Oh, look, we forgot to set that up. Click, add that to the ground group. And let's see, what do we want to put that one? Let's put it right underneath. Let's go with right underneath its placement. So I'll put 23. Go. Okay. So all that is nice and set up now. Let's go ahead and see if it's all working. Before we test this out, we're at the spot where we can convert our landscape to Nanite. So to do so, you would select your landscape, scroll down where it says Nanite, and check on the enable Nanite and hit build data. Just give it a few, build the data out. All right. All right, so now that that's built, let's go ahead and dial in our settings here. So by default, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that at 0.5, which is the default. Go back into my material and dial in the displacement magnitude. Right from here. It feels a little bit better. That way I can drive more of the control from the actual material instance here. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, so That works really well with normal strength, so you want to crank that up. Perfect. Size control. Something feels off about the normals, so I'm gonna troubleshoot that here really quick, see what's going on. All right, so looks like we forgot to change the input type on our strength. So we want to change this to input scalar. Apply, save. That feels a lot better. Great. Everything's working good. We'll go ahead and save this out. And hit play. There you go. Have your very basic material controls. So in the next section, we're going to add some additional controls to this material. I don't want to put too much into just one video because I know it's a lot to go through. But we'll be adding some triplanar projection settings. And then we'll be setting up a multi-layer texture so you can stack the different materials you've downloaded and copy this one that we've already set up so that it makes the process a lot quicker. But that concludes the section of this video. Thanks.